Good morning, dear students. I'm going to start the class. As we have started the lesson, the Bhajar, in our two previous classes, I have discussed maximum of the lesson. So this will be part 3 on the topic on the short story, the Bhajar. And as I have marked here, till here, I have completed in my previous class. So as a reference, I'd like to tell you the last discussion between the Bhajar and the Bhikar, including the two SARS wardens. So in this last paragraph, we got to know that the SARS warden, two SARS wardens and the Bhikar were sitting and they were waiting for Bhajar because they had a discussion. They had a discussion with the Bhajar, and they asked so many questions to the Bhajar, how he used to manage as being an illiterate person, how he used to what he do or what he does when he needs to write a letter to someone. The Bhajar said that his wife is a literate person, and with the help of his wife he used to manage such kind of situation. And besides all, as he was an experienced person, so he had the knowledge how to manage the situation, though he was an illiterate person. So after that we are going to start from here, and in this last line, the two SARS warden gave the Bhikar a troubled glance and then looked down at the table. That means it is quite clear that the Bhikar manipulated the two SARS warden, and they were at the side of the Bhikar. The SARS warden were at the side of Bhikar. So today I am going to start from here. Well, foreman, I have talked the matter over with this gentleman, and they quite agree with me that the situation is impossible. That means that Bhikar is saying that he has discussed this the matter of the Bhajar's ignorance or unwiseness to the SARS warden, and they had sought out the matter. They had sought out the decision that it is impossible to have like a Bhajar like Edward Foreman. So it is quite impossible for us to have you here. The Bhikar actually trying to say this. At a source like St. Peter's Naval Scare, we cannot have a Bhajar who can neither read nor write, and it is quite clear now that the Bhikar disclosed the fact by saying that the source like St. Peter's, it's a prestigious source, so we cannot have a Bhajar who is totally illiterate. After that, Albert Edwards' thin, sallow face reddened, and he moved uneasily on his feet, but he made no reply. Here, the facial expression is described by the author, that sallow face you can say yellowish or pale face, blushed by hearing, or go reddened by hearing this utterance, and he moved his feet uneasily. He was feeling quite uncomfortable, but he did not reply. Understand me, foreman. I have no complaint to make against you. Bhikar is saying this, that understand me, try to understand me, foreman. I have no complaint against you. You do your work quite satisfactorily. You did your job, or you are doing your job quite satisfactorily. I have no objection, I have no complaint against you or your activities. I have the highest opinion both of your character and of your capacity, and I also believe the Bhikar is saying so. I also believe that your character and your capability or capacity is quite good, but we have not the right to take the risks of some accident that might happen owing to your lamentable ignorance. But as you are an illiterate person, there may be certain risks to have you in this prestigious job at the St. Peter's Church. It's a matter of prudence as well as principle. So it's also a matter of prudence. Prudence means here carefulness. We do care for the church, and if something unexpected happen to this church because of your ignorance, so we cannot take the risks. The Bhikar is saying to Barjar like this. But could not you learn, foreman? Asked the general. And finally he asked, couldn't you learn? No sir, I am afraid I could not now. The Barjar is replied in this point that no sir, I could not learn at this moment of life. You see, I am not as young as I was, and if I could not seem able to get the letters in me, yet when I was a nipper, I don't think there's much chance of it now. So the Barjar explaining that I did not do, or I was unable to read or learn things when I was a child or I was a boy. Now I am not a child to learn anything new. So it's quite impossible for me to learn anything new at this point of life or at this moment of life. It's better to have learned in my childhood. See after. We don't want to be harsh with you, foreman, said the Bhikar. The Bhikar is saying that we don't want to be harsh or rude with you, but the church wardens and I have quite decided. Made up means here decided, made up our minds. We have decided in our minds that you must learn, otherwise you should leave. This thing, it will be clear later on. Okay, see, we will give you 3 months, and if at the end of that time you cannot read and write, I am afraid you will have to go. So the Bhikar finally cleared or clarified that Barjar will be given 3 months to learn, otherwise he must leave the place. He must lose the job. Afterward, see next paragraph. Albert Edward had never liked the new Bhikar. From the very beginning, we got to know that the Barjar did not like the new Bhikar. He had said from the beginning that they had made a mistake when they gave him St. Peter's. And the Barjar used to say from the very beginning that the authorities had made a mistake to give the power or give the authority of the Saint Peter's to the new beaker. He was not the type of man they wanted with a classy congregation like that. Classy means here highly stylish or fashionable. Congregation means a gathering of faithful in a church. So he was not the type of man they wanted with a classy congregation like that. So the new beaker is not that type of person, like the earlier beaker who had a highly stylish personality or capability of gathering people. And now he straightened himself a little, and now the verger straightened his belief or his faith that this beaker is not perfect for this job. He knew his value and he was not going to allow himself to be put upon. Put upon, that means used. He knew his value, that means the verger knew his value and was not going to allow himself to be used by the new beaker. He could not let him overpower the new the verger. I am very sorry, sir. I am afraid it's no good. I am too old a dog to learn new tricks. The verger also making clarifying the fact that he is old enough to learn anything new. Like a old dog cannot learn the new tricks. I have lived a good many years without knowing to read and write, and without wishing to praise myself. Self-praise is no recommendation. I don't mind saying I have done my duty in that state of life in which it has pleased a merciful providence to place me, and if I could learn now, I don't know as I had want to. So the meaning of this lines that the verger clarify or sorry for his ignorance, for being illiterate, and also sorry for not accepting the offer by the beaker to learn anything within 3 months, otherwise have to lose the job. And he said that he had been in this job or in that job for many years without knowing with being illiterate, ignorance, and he did not expect to praise himself or to praise him, and self-praise is no recommendation, and he also could not praise himself because self-praise is no recommendation. People does not like self praise. Next, I don't mind saying I have done my duty in that state of life in which it has pleased a merciful providence. Providence means careful guidance of God. The meaning providence means careful guidance of God. So he said that though he did not like self praising or self praise, besides he said that he had done his job very well to praise, to do his duty to praise the God, but this is not the correct time or perfect time to learn anything new. huh? Though he had want to, that means he wanted to learn, but his age, huh? his age doesn't support him. See the next line. In that case, foreman, I am afraid you must go, the vicar said. And the vicar also declared this. If you cannot, you must leave, you must go, you must lose your job. Yes sir, I quite understand, the verger said. I shall be happy to, and in my resignation, as soon as you have found somebody to take my place. So I quite understand the fact, and I'm quite happy. I'll be happy to leave this job, and while I resign from this job, as soon as I resign the job, you found someone fit for this job or for this place. This was the suggestion from the verger to the vicar. But when Albert Edward, with his usual politeness, had closed the church door behind the vicar and the two church wardens, he could not sustain the air of unruffled dignity with which he had borne the blow inflicted upon him, and his lips quivered. So, by saying this much, the verger unexpectedly closed the door behind him politely, and keeping or leaving the vicar and the two church warden beside, and he could not sustain the air of unruffled. Unruffled means at peace, calm, at peace, calm, dignity. So he could not sustain the air of peace. He brushed out the air. That means he felt quite comfortable to leave the place. After that, with which he had borne means here you could have seen the word born. It's a similar word, distinguished. Born, B-O-R-N and B-O-R-N-E. The difference between these two words, born is birth, and this born is carried or supported. With which he had borne the blow inflicted upon him, and his lips quivered. With the satisfaction he carried out, or as he did his duty or carried his duty in satisfaction, so he left the place also in satisfaction, because he has or he was not guilty of doing something illegal or not doing his duty well, and his lips quivered. Quivered means here shining. His lips was shining, because as I already mentioned that he has made no guilt. He did his job very well, so he left the place with quite satisfaction. He walked slowly back to the vestry and hung up on its proper peg his verger's gown. So he walked slowly back to the vestry, the narrow passage between the row of seats, and hung up on its proper peg. Proper peg, you can say the keeping place, an object to keep something. His verger's gown. He put out his put off his dress, the gown, and kept on the object, or kept on the place where it should be. He sighed as he thought of all the grand funerals and smart weddings it had seen. He sighed as he thought of, he was thinking, while leaving the place, he was thinking the grand fundrails about the smart wedding he had seen in that church, in that place. He tidied everything up, put on his coat, and hat in hand walked down the Aisley. Oh, sorry, pastry means here the meaning is different. The pastry means the store place, you can say, and the Aisley means the narrow passage between the row of seats. So he tidied up, that means he cleaned up everything. After that, he put on his coat, his personal coat, and take the hat on his hand and walk down the narrow passage between the row of seats. That means he was walking back from there. He locked the church door behind him. He also locked the church door. He strolled across the square. Strolled means leisurely walk, idle or leisurely walk. So he was walking idly, leisurely. That means he was very sad. He was very sad. So he was walking leisurely. But deep in his sad thought, he did not take the street that led him home. In his gloomy mood, he did not take the street which led him to home, where a nice strong cup of tea awaited him, where his wife must have been waiting for him with a cup of strong tea. He took the wrong turning. That means another way or another street. He walked slowly along. He was walking slowly. His heart was heavy. His heart was full of gloom, sadness. He did not know what he should do with himself. Without knowing whither he was going or whither he was going to do what he was going to do, he was walking leisurely in a sad mood. He did not fancy the notion of going back to domestic service. Fancy means here suppose or imagine. Supposed to or imagine. He did not imagine, or he was not imagining the notion, the concept of going back or to domestic service. Domestic service, that means his earlier service before the Badger's job. He was a page boy. He used to do the household work. So he was not in that mode at this time to do that domestic work or to go back to that domestic work. After being his own master for many years, for the vicar and church warden could say that what they liked. He knew that, the Badger knew that what the vicar and the two church warden actually wants to or wanted. They actually wanted to send the Badger to the domestic service, like the job of page boy. Because of that, they manipulated the situation, they manipulated everything, and he had to, or he has to lose the job. It was he that had run St. Peter's Naval Square. He could scarcely demean himself by accepting a situation. He knew that, the Badger knew that it was the Badger himself who runs the St. Peter's. He was the sole person to maintain to run the church, and he did not wanted to demean. Demean means here to lower his personality, to lower his position by accepting the situation which they wanted or which they want. He had saved a tidy sum, but not enough to live on without doing something, and life seemed to cost more every year. That means the Barzar had a good savings, but not enough to lead life without doing something. He has some, or he had some savings, but it was not quite enough to lead his life without doing nothing. That means he had to do something with that TD sum for his future life. He had never thought to be troubled with such questions. He never thought that this type of situation, this type of question will arise at any circumstances in his life. But the situation occurs or happens, or it happens to the Barzar. The Barzars of St. Peter's, like the popes of Rome, were there for life. Actually, I already mentioned that to do the job in St. Peter's, it's highly prestigious, and he himself said that it like the popes of Rome. The job of a Barzar in St. Peter's is as like as the popes of Rome. Like in the Rome, the city of Rome or the country of Rome, the Pope is highly the Pope is a highly powerful person. Like that, to do job in the St. Peter's, it was also like that of like that sort of job. He had often thought of the pleasant reference. He had often thought of the pleasant reference the vicar would make in his sermon at Evensong, the first Sunday after his death, to the long and faithful service and the exemplary character of their late Barzar. He had often thought of the pleasant reference the vicar would make in his sermon at Evensong, the first Sunday after his death. So he remembered, or he recalled the earlier vicar here, and how was the day at that time, and the character of the earlier vicar was exemplary. Albert Edward Foreman. Okay, after C, he sighed deeply. The Barzar sighed, like this. Albert Edward was a non-smoker and a total abstainer, but with a certain latitude. That is to say, he liked a glass of beer with his dinner, and when he was tired, he enjoyed a cigarette. So he was not a smoker, or you can say he was a non-smoker, and he used to stay away from smoking, but he sometimes used to drink the beer with his dinner, and when he becomes sad or tired, at that time he used to lit a cigarette, or he used to smoke a cigarette. It occurred to him now that one would comfort him, and since he did not carry them, he looked about him for a shop where he could buy a packet of gold flake. So at this time, or at this moment, he wanted to comfort himself with a cigarette. So he wanted to buy a gold flake or packet of gold flake. He did not at once see one and walked on a little. At once he did not found a shop from which he can buy a packet of cigarette. It was a long street with all sort of shops in it, but there was not a single one where you could buy cigarettes. There are so many shops on that road, but he could not find a single shop to buy cigarette. That's strange, said Albert Edward. Huh? That's very strange or surprising. To make sure, he walked right up the street again. No, there was no doubt about it. He stopped and looked reflectively up and down. So he walked straight up to find a shop for cigarette, but there was no doubt that he could not find a single shop for cigarette. So he stopped and looked reflectively up and down. What's going on? Where is the shop? Like this. So I think this much we need to end here. We need to conclude here in this stage, because the video is going to a big one. So I would like to conclude here. So this much today we have completed. Thanks for watching. If you have any question or query, just let me know. Thank you all.